requirement of business logic. So what method is for what and all you will be understanding going forward. Okay, so we are looking at page new, property set, and page remove. Page new is the method which creates a new user page on the clipboard. Page remove is the method which will delete the user pages from the clipboard. Property set is the method which can be used to assign values to the property set runtime. Okay, so let's go ahead and understand let's get a basic understanding of activity, and then we will proceed further to work on the business scenarios. Okay, so now write down example. What is this Axana? Write down example. Create an activity to assign first name and last name with any values. To assign first name and last name with any values. Create an activity to assign first name and last name with any values. Okay, so now I want to assign the values to properties first name and last name. It doesn't matter whether first name, last name. You can use any of the properties which you have here. Okay, it's up to you. It is just an example to understand how to create activity, how to use the methods. That's it. There is no business scenarios here. Let's go ahead and create an activity. What is the navigation to create activity? Create technical activity. Write on this. Right click on class group, create technical activity. Activity. Okay, here you need to give the name of the activity. Suppose I am going to give it is exactly follow me. Child activity. You can give any name, but use this name. Okay, create and open. Create and open activity name. So now I want to access the properties of this class, right? So now what should I do? How would I access the properties of a class? You need to create a page for that particular class. Then you need to access the properties like page dot property name. Okay. So go to pages and classes tab. Chairs లేవా ఈ లోపల ఒక చైర్ ఉంటుంది టేబుల్ ముందు ప్లాస్టిక్ చైర్ ఉంటుంది టేబుల్ కి అవతల ఉంటుంది సో పేజెస్ అండ్ క్లాసెస్ ట్యాబ్ లేదా అసలు ఏ చైర్ లేదా అక్కడ చైర్స్ ఉంటాయండి చాలా కొన్ని ఉండవే జస్ట్ గివ్ మీ 1 minute ఆన్లైన్ So here you go to pages and class tab and you need to define a page. So what can be the page name that you have to give here? It can be any page name, it's up to you. Okay, you can give ABCD, XYZ, whatever it is. So I am going to give this child page. So it's up to you what is the page name that you are going to give here in this example. Okay, but meaningfully I am giving something child page And what is the class I need to see? Here you need to click the down arrow, you will see all available classes. Okay, in Pega. So what class we need to give here? AXA insurance work. So from this class we want to access the properties, so you need to define a page for this class. Okay, so let's go to steps tab now. So first thing is you need to make sure that this page should be created. Okay, in order to create a page, what is the method you need to use? Write down steps tab method. So just look at here, method drop down, you need to use a method called page new. So and see here step page. So which page you want to create, you need to mention here. So I want to create a page which I have defined here in the pages and classes tab. If you click the down arrow here, you will see the page available here which you have defined under pages and class tab, child page. What is this param, what is this primary, we'll understand later. Go ahead and choose the page which you have defined. See, when you are defining pages, remember one thing, you should not give any spaces in the page names. It should be a single word. Okay, steps tab, select child page, write down this. Step 1, page new, method is page new, step A equal to child page. Everything is a drop down here. So when to use this label, loop, when, jump, this and all will be working on later. Okay, add a step here. So here you go ahead and next method you need to choose property set. So I'm going to see here I want to set properties using this page. So I'm using property set method. In the step page drop down, you choose child page. Okay, so see here, before the method which you have selected, you have an arrow mark to expand the method. So which properties you want to assign? So you need to expand the method. When you expand method here, it will display you property name and property value. Okay, so here I can choose, click the down arrow, child page. Once you select child page, it will add a dot automatically and it will display all the properties of a class for which this child page is referring to. Display child page is referring to AXA insurance work, so it will display all the properties of this one, out of which what we are discussing about is first name. So I am going to assign a value to the first name. One more property I want to add, I need to click on this plus icon and then choose child page dot last name. So I want to add one more value for this and then save this activity. Done. Right now.
Using a property,
you can assign from another property also. Okay, so now let's go ahead and save this activity. Save the activity. So from the action drop down, you choose run. So when you are going to run this, look at here, after you run, you will get a pop-up like this. And here you have a run button again. And you click on the run button. See, when you are going to click on the run button, you should see next another pop-up which says this operation completed successfully. Suppose if you are not getting this pop-up, means you have done, you have enabled a pop-up blocker. You need to disable that, then you will see this. Otherwise, activity will not be executed. After you click on run, a few people will face an issue of pop-up blocker. Then you disable pop-up blocker, then you should be able to run it. Clear? If you are getting it, that's fine. So once you are done, you can go to the clipboard, run the activity, and go to the clipboard. Run the activity, go to the clipboard. So what should be there on the clipboard? Which page? Child page should be there with the given data of first name and last name on it. Okay. So go to the clipboard. Look, child page should be available with first name and last name values assigned. Go to the clipboard. Child page should be available with first name and last name assigned. Okay, so see here if you go to the clipboard, see you need to choose here standard. Okay, it will be available on standard thread only. Here you will be having child page. On the clipboard, by default you will see new. You need to go to standard. So here you see child page. If you click on the child page here, it will display the properties and values which are being assigned. Okay, so this is clear. See, I am going to do one more thing now. You tell me output what should be available. I am going to do page remove child page. So if I execute this activity and go to clipboard,
There is no child page.
what should be available?
There will be no child page.
Child page will be there or it will not be there?
It will be deleted.
It should not be there because we are creating it, we are assigning it properties and we are deleting it. So if you go to the standard thread now, it's not there. It should be there on top only. See, this step has been executed to remove the child page. Okay, so if you can test it when you are working on it. Okay, leave it. So let's go ahead and work on other stuff now. Before we proceed to create another activity, we will go ahead and understand the debugging procedure of the activity. Okay, so what is the meaning of debugging?
Find the errors and
Yeah, to look at the step-by-step execution of a something content rule. Okay, if you want to look at how it is being executing step by step, okay, that is what debugging process. Okay, if you want to go ahead and look at the debugging process of step-by-step execution of any rule in Pega, you have a debugging tool available called Tracer. Okay, Tracer is one of the main debugging tools in PRBC, using which you should be able to look at the step-by-step execution of many types of rules, out of which activity is one. Okay, so it will record all the data of step-by-step execution of the rule and displays you. So you need to make sure you enable the tracer. Suppose you run it and you need to go through the tracer. Here is the trace icon button available. So the same thing is also available beside clipboard under the at the bottom here. Okay, in the activity when you are going to execute, you can open the tracer from here or here. For now you follow this one. When you run it, you can use this tracer will be open. So you need to minimize the tracer and click on run. So when you minimize, I will give you steps to write down. Minimize the tracer and then click on run. You will go back to the tracer. You will see the step-by-step execution is been recorded. See here how to open tracer and all. I'll give you steps. How to read the tracer I'll tell you. అది adjust చేసుకొని కనబడుతుందా క్లియర్ గా? జూమ్ కాదు. అలా ఉంచు. ఓకే, నువ్వు అక్కడి నుంచి చేయజాపిన అందేదేమని. So see here, tracer you need to read it from bottom always. Okay, it will record from bottom to top. So here first thing is you need to identify what is happening. Event type, activity begin. So leave it. Activity begin. So which activity has begun you want to know. You need to look at the name column. So it has begun an activity called child activity, which is available under which class? AXA insurance work. So this is the activity which has been begun. So next you need to move one level up. So this is the line number of the tracer. Okay, so first line is done, second line. So when you go to second line, what is happening? Step begin. So I want to know what is the step that has begun. Here you will get the step number. So what is the step number? 1. So step 1 has begun in the activity child activity. So what is the method that is been executing at step 1? What is the method? Here you can see step method. We'll talk about step status later. Page new. Okay, so in the tracer you will find 2 lines for each step. Okay, one is step begin, one is step end. See here, next one is step 1, step end. So step 1 has begun and step 1 has ended. So by the time step 1 ends, the child page would have been created. Okay, next step 2 begin is a property set which is running on child page. Okay, and step 2 is completed, the property set is completed on child page. I want to know before a step begins and after the step is completed, I want to know the data of the page. Okay, see here, step 2 has begun here, child page. If I click on this, single click on this child page, it will display the data on child page. See, properties of page, child page, there are no properties by the time step begin. Okay, close this, go back, and by the time step end, if you click on child page, see the properties on page child page is this one. Okay, before a step executes and after the step execution is completed, you want to know. So you can click on the step page on the tracer at step begin and step end. So this is how you can look at the step by step execution of the activity using tracer. Okay, so every day you have to use this. Whether I will touch it or not, you have to touch it every day. You need to, once you complete your task, you have to go through the tracer and look at it what is going on. Okay, for all the rules going forward you have to use it. I will show you how to use going forward whenever it is required. Okay, so this is how, if you want to look at the step by step execution of the activity, you can use tracer. Okay,
So how to make it default? So every time we need to act.
no, every time you need to open only, it's not default. Every time you need to open it. Make sure by the time you run it, it should be active. Open and minimize it. You run your rules, it will record the data. Once completed, you maximize it and look at it. Okay, so మీకు అర్థం కాదు ఇప్పుడే, slowly you will understand. PY work page we are not using here. There is no flow. When you have flow, PY work page will be created. This is only activity. There is no flow involved. There is no work object involved. No meaning of PY work page here. We will be working on the PY work page, integrating activity with user interface. Workflow and all. Okay, workflow UI and all. Okay, we will be working on those things. So this is the basic idea of activity and basic idea of tracer. Write down tracer. Okay, write down. Tracer is one of the main debugging tools in PRPC. Tracer is one of the main debugging. So see, so far we have seen where am I. Where am I is the debugging tool which is used to know the current position of the work object in the flow. Clipboard is also debugging tool which is used to look at the page information or whatever it is. Okay, so and third one is tracer. Tracer is one of the main debugging tools in PRPC which records the step-by-step execution of different types of rules like activity, flow, section, flow action, etc. Okay, so remaining things we will be looking at it later. Okay, section, flow action, etc. Okay, so see here now, tracer can be identified beside clipboard. Okay, from here when you have to open, I will tell you later, but we will go ahead and open it from the trace button itself. Okay, write down how to trace an activity. Okay, write down, run the child activity from action drop down. Okay, see, before you click on run button, you need to make sure you need to trace it. Okay, click on the trace button which will open the tracer. Click on the next step, click on the trace button which will open the tracer. Okay, so you have opened the tracer, you need to minimize it now. Okay, go ahead and minimize tracer. Minimize tracer and then click on run. Click on run. Right on. Now maximize the tracer to see the trace events. Okay, so write down next. Tracer should be read from bottom to top. So that's it. So you know how to read it. You are not required to write down all these things. So to repeat again, look at here. You should see event type, what is going on, and what rule is being running under the name column. After that, each step will have two lines here. So one is step begin, another one is step end. So first step begin, first step ended, second step begin, second step ended. Okay, when the step begin, what is the page data? If you want to know, click on the page name, you will see the data, no data. When the step ends, what is the page data? If you want to see page data. Okay, so this is clear. You do this one when you are practicing. Next, see, an activity you can have the recommended number of steps is 28. Okay, in a business logic implementation, the recommended number of steps is 28. If you
Maximum.
recommended means maximum only, right? So maximum. So the maximum number of recommended steps is 28. So if you are going, you can write down 30, 40 also. Okay, but you will see performance issues. Okay, Pega recommends you to write only 28 steps. Suppose your business logic is taking more than 28, what you should do?
Great.
So you need to split your activity into multiple activities. So create another activity, call one activity, another activity. Okay, so you can call activities from another activity. So you have activity A, activity B. Activity B you can call from activity A. Okay, like this. In an activity, how many activities you can call? So activity in activity, activity in activity, it can be chain. Okay, so let's go ahead and understand, get a basic understanding of how to invoke an activity, how to call an activity from another activity. Okay, so how to call it? Sure. How to call activity from another activity? Hmm? What is that call? Call method. Huh? Call is not a method. Okay, so we have here available something called call. Okay, if you select call, and one more thing is there called branch. So both of these can be used, call, branch. So now in the drop down, whatever you see here, what are these things? These are all methods. We already discussed, right? So in the methods here, you see activity clear status, activity end. From here, all the methods are in alphabetical order, right? A, C, B is not there, D, E, F, something. So everything is in alphabetical order. If you go to top of this, call, branch, collect, Java, queue. These are out of the order. Okay, these five what you see here are not methods. These are called instructions. Okay, call, branch, collect, Java, and queue. These five are instructions. From here, whatever you see in alphabetical order are methods. Okay, so if you want to call an activity, got it, Salim? If you want to call an activity from another activity, you need to use either call or branch instructions. We will technically understand what is the difference between call and branch. Functionally, we will understand later. Okay, we will be looking at it now only technically. What is the difference? The execution wise. Functionally, we'll understand these things later. Okay, so right now, how to invoke an activity from another activity? How to see, we are going to use all these things going forward. That time you are not going to write the steps. Okay, this is like a template for you. How to invoke an activity from another activity? Right now, an activity can be invoked from another activity by using below instructions. An activity can be invoked from another activity by using below instructions. First one, what is the first one? Call, C-A-L-L, call. What is the next one? B-R-A-N-C-H, branch. B-R-A-N-C-H, branch. Okay, so you have to go ahead and use either call or branch. When to use what, you will be understanding later. We will see the technical difference between call and branch. Okay, right now, create an activity, write down in single quotes, parent activity. Create an activity, parent activity, comma, invoke child activity from it. Invoke child activity from it. So once the execution is completed, you need to tell me what is the difference. Okay, Write down next point. Invoking child activity using call. Put a side heading, invoking child activity using call. Invoking child activity using call. So exactly follow me in the creation of parent activity. Just for your understanding, we will go ahead and do right many steps. Activity. So I'm going to create an activity. What is the name of the activity I'm going to give? Parent activity. Create and open. So this one, parent activity. So go to pages and classes, create a page. For your understanding, create a page, parent page. So I will take the same class, AXA insurance work. It's up to you to define it or not. Okay. Right up. Pages and class, parent page, AXA insurance work. Okay. Go to steps tab. Go to steps tab. So first thing, let me create this parent page, page new. Parent page, look at here. Okay, write on first one and second step I'll tell you. Write on first step. Okay. So okay, so look at here now. I am going to choose instruction call. Okay, look at here, call. Once you choose call, you need to mention which activity you want to call. So you need to give a space here and then with the down arrow on your keyboard, you will see all available activities which you can go ahead and invoke. So we have only one activity which is saved so far, child activity. When you're going to note down in your notes, note down like this, call space child activity. Okay, call after you should have space. Okay, do not try with call dot child activity and come back to me. So I told you call space child activity. Okay, so whether you select page here or not, it doesn't matter. Okay, but for now you choose it. You will get the understanding of step page maybe after some time, not completely now. You'll get it later. Okay, so after this, add one more step. So in this step, I'm going to do simply, yeah. See, is it mandatory to do property set? Huh? No need. Just for our understanding of current branch, we are adding steps. It's not mandatory. So property set, here you are going to add few of the properties. Which properties you want to add is up to you, but go ahead here in this way. Parent page dot first name, I'm going to add here. Save this. Okay.
What is the addition
That's what you have to tell me. Okay, this is done. Once this is done, write down, save the activity and run it through the tracer to understand the execution. Run it through the tracer to understand the execution. Save the activity and run it through the tracer to understand the execution. So someone tell me from the tracer now how it is executing. Okay, near Japan. So I'm going to run it. I'm going to trace it now. Okay, and I'm going to run this one. Go back to tracer. So this is the tracing records. How it has executed, tell me step by step. So what is the activity began? Parent activity. Next, step 1 of the parent activity completed. Okay, in 2 lines. Next, step 2 has begun. Here, step 2 has begun in the parent activity. In the step 2, what is happening? Call child activity. So in the next line, what is happening? Activity began. What is the activity name? Child activity. And then what happened? Step 1 to executed. Step 1 to of which activity? Child activity. And then activity end. What activity has ended? Child activity. So here you see step and step 2. So step and step 2. What is the step 2? Call child activity, which is there in parent activity. Okay. So step 2 of parent activity is completed from here to here. Within the step 2 of parent activity, child activity execution has taken place. Right. After that, what happened? Step began. Step 3. What is the step 3? Property set of which activity? Parent activity. Step 3 completed. Execution of parent activity ended. Done. This is the execution flow of this one. You are not required right now. When you are doing it, you will understand it. Right. Next, we are going to understand the execution now using branch. This is clear to everyone? Any questions? Any doubts on me? ఏంటిది you can go to clipboard also and see, right? You can go to clipboard and go to standard thread. Child page is there. In the child page we have child page dot first name equal to this one last name. And what is the other page? Parent page is there, right? So parent page is there. First name dot. See, first name last name properties are same, but pages are different. Okay, that means properties are different. ఎక్కడ చేస్తాను నేను I deleted it actually. That is just to show you. I have added and deleted. Okay, so this is clear. Now we will go ahead and understand the same thing using branch. This is clear. Next, write down invoking child activity using branch. Invoking child activity using branch. This one, invoking child. ఇక్కడ ఏదైనా రాయండి మీ ఇష్టం. Invoking child activity using branch. Okay, let's go ahead now and look at here. So how to invoke the child activity using branches? Write down open parent activity and modify step 2. Open parent activity, right? Open parent activity and modify step 2 to replace call with branch. To replace call with branch. So that means replace call with branch means, so in place of call should have to use branch. That's it. Okay, save the activity, run through the tracer and understand the execution. Save the activity, run through the tracer and understand the execution. Hey, am I audible to everyone? Save the activity and run through the tracer. Am I audible or not audible? Chandrasekhar. Yes, right. Then it's good, Salim, for everyone else. Okay, fine. Thank you. So let me go ahead and run this. Now I replace call with branch. I'm going through the tracer and then run it. Okay. So now you tell me the execution, how it has happened. Activity began. Which activity has begun? And then step one of the parent activity got executed. Next,
ending.
step two got executed, right? చూడండి అక్కడ చూసి చెప్పండి. Step 2 began. What is the step 2? Parent activity. So within the step 2, what it is doing?
Calling the
Executing the child activity.
using branch.
So it's done. Yeah, it is branching the child activity and everything is done. After step 2 is done, then what is happening? Step 2 of parent activity is completed and then activity end. Which activity got ended? Parent activity got end. Okay. So what happened? What is the difference between the previous one and this one in the execution?
Previous one is any stage got started and it called child activity and parent page got ended and this
What is the execution difference between this one now, call and branch, what we have observed? Property side, this one not executed, right? Previously this got executed, now this has not been executed. See, call will invoke the child activity. Call invokes the child activity, completes the execution of child activity, whatever it is, comes back to the parent activity and executes any number of steps that you write after the call step. Okay, that's what happened. Next, branch invokes the child activity, executes it, comes back to the parent activity and ends the parent activity execution at the branch step itself by ignoring the execution of any number of steps that you are going to write after the branch step. Okay, this is the technical. Functionally, we'll understand it. When to use what, we'll see later. Okay, technical understanding you got, right? How it is working. Write down the same. What is the difference between call and branch?
Branch means limiting the evidence.
ఏంటండి?
Branch means limiting the evidence. Up to some extent.
చెప్పు.
Harsha, can you please repeat that once again?
Okay. I am going to tell you now. Difference between call and branch. Write out. Okay, ఒకటే పాయింట్ కదా. So difference between call and branch. Under call you need to write down. It invokes child activity. For your understanding, you write down in this way. Okay, child activity means the sub activity. It invokes child activity then it comes back to the parent activity and ends the execution of parent activity at branch tab and by ignoring execution of any number of steps written after branch step. Okay, done. So this is the technical difference between call and branch. Context. What context you lost? Okay, so you execute it through the tracer, you'll better understand. Next, we will go and see one more thing. After that, we will jump on to tables. Okay, write down activity type. యాక్టివిటీ నేను యాక్టివిటీస్కి నోట్స్ రాశాను నేను నోట్ప్యాడ్లో రాయా మీకు చెప్పాను జస్ట్ అరే యాక్టివిటీ types right now the below are different types of activities available. See why we have done this creation of activities so far. Just to get an idea of what is activity and how to basically use basic methods. That's it. Okay, that's why we have created. So we did not implement any business logic, frankly speaking. Okay, so activity types. Below are different types of activities. First one, activity. Second one, utility. Third one, on change. Okay, we will wind up in next 2-3 minutes. Activity, utility, on change, notify, trigger, connect. Okay, right down. Activity type can be chosen. Activity type can be chosen under the usage drop down field. Under the usage drop down field in the security tab. In the second tab of activity rule form, activity type can be chosen under the usage drop down field of a field in the security tab of activity rule form. Okay, right now activity type identifies where this activity should be invoked from. Where this activity should be invoked from. So first one, activity type. Activity means you should be invoking this from another activity or HTML control. When I say HTML controls, buttons, text box like this. Second one, activity type utility. Can be invoked from flow using utility flow shape. Third one, on change. Declare on change rule. Fifth one, select connect. Flow using greater shape. Okay, remain this not required now. Okay, sixth one, notify. For remaining activities. What remaining activities? Okay, so this is done. So let's go ahead now and look at all these things. See, if you open any activity and go to security tab, here you have usage drop down, activity types are there. Okay, so by default it is activity. So the activity can be called from activity or any other HTML content. So you will get a scenario where you need to invoke the activity from declare on change rule. That time you need to create an activity which is of type on change. If you are going to call the activity from, suppose, utility shape in a flow, you need to create an activity of type utility. So it depends on your requirement what type of activity you will create. You will get an understanding of what you need to create once you go through the requirements and all. Okay. So basically we will go ahead and see now how to invoke activity from utility shape. Okay. So up to this we'll put it aside, and later on whenever we're creating activities you need to say what type of activity we need to choose and all. So that time I'm not going to write down the steps to choose the activity type, where and how to call it in utility shape. This is like a template again. This has to be used going forward. Okay, write down. How to invoke an activity from utility shape. How to invoke parent activity. How to invoke parent activity from utility shape in a flow. See, this flow can be anything, it's up to you. How to invoke parent activity using utility shape of a flow. Using utility shape of a flow. Okay, this is just to get the navigations of what to do when you call in the utility shape, and what is the navigation to call it using the utility shape. Okay, so now what are the changes we need to do? Open parent activity, and what we need to do now? Go to security tab, and usage you need to select it to be utility. Write down this. Open parent activity, go to security tab, usage drop down, choose utility, and then save it. And then save it. So now you need to create a flow. Create a flow. We are not going to use any existing flow. This is just example, right? Create a flow. Calling activity FL. You can give any name. It's up to you. We are not going to reuse it. Any name you create a flow. I have given calling activity flow. Whatever the name you want to give, you can give. Okay, now here, do we need this assignment shape? We need it or we don't need it? In this example. Why you need, when you need assignment shape? If you are going to perform some action, you will perform action on what? On a flow action. When you have a flow action, you need assignment. In example, do we have any user interface? We don't have. So we don't need this assignment here. This is not required. Okay. So what flow shape we need? If you go to the palette here, you will see utility. This is the flow shape which we need. Connect from here to here, and then here to layout, horizontal or vertical, whatever it is. Okay, draw this diagram. Start shape, utility shape, and shape. Okay, double click on utility shape. Double click on utility shape. Okay, so look at here now. I'm going to double click on it. So once you double click on the utility shape, it will bring this properties window. Here you will see rule py utility star. You need to remove this. Under the rule drop down, see if you click the down arrow, you will see all available activities which you can call. You see here only parent activity. We also have child activity. Then why child activity is not coming in this drop down? Because in the drop down here of the utility shape properties, you will see all available activities of type utility. Other activities you cannot call. Okay? Because only parent activities of type utility, it is available. If you change child activity also utility, both will be available to be able to select here. Parent activity. Under the rule drop down, choose parent activity. And then submit this. Okay, save and run the flow. There is no need to do create. Okay, this and all is not okay. Let's go ahead with the process. So now once you execute this flow, it should be executing the parent activity. So now I want to see the execution of parent activity, whether it is executing or not. Step by step I want to see. What should I do? I need to go through the tracer. Now see, previously I'm executing directly activity, so I just go through the actions and run. I've got a trace button. I traced it. Now I will not get trace button. I don't have that option. I'm executing flow. Okay, so I need to go through the tracer here. Okay, if I open the tracer here, already something. Yeah, if I open the tracer here, so when you're going to open the tracer here from, you need to first go to settings. So in the settings, tracer will allow you to choose the checkboxes of what rules you want to trace. Here by default it has activities. I want to trace activity in this scenario. This data transform and all I don't know. I do not want this data transform. Uncheck. And I don't want when rules. I'm going to uncheck this. See, in the down below, even types to trace, you have flow also available. If you want to trace flow, you can trace. Select flow, which you can trace. So go down still. See here, many checkboxes are selected for rule sets. We'll talk about rule set later. When you're doing this way, you need to follow this. First thing is you need to deselect everything and select the checkboxes which are related to AXA. Only AXA related. AXA, this one. First five checkboxes, and then you click on OK. By default, for the first time when you open the tracer from here and do settings, something will be traced from built-in. You need to clear this one and minimize it. Now you run the flow. Run the flow. So the flow will not wait at any place. It will be completed executing the utility shape. See here now, it has traced. What has started? Flow has started. Which flow has started? Calling activity flow. Once flow is started, next thing is flow connector started. And then flow utility started. Within the utility, you have activity. What is the activity? Parent activity. Within the parent activity, you have child activity. Everything is completed. Flow utility is ended, and then flow connector is ended, and then finally flow is ended. Flow connector, utility connector, flow ended. That's how you can also trace flow. Okay, this is how the execution happened. You need to go through the tracer from here and uncheck all checkboxes which you don't want, and down below you deselect all and select first 5 checkboxes and minimize the tracer and proceed further. Clear the tracer and minimize, proceed further and see. This is the basically how to invoke activity from utility shape. So we'll go ahead and work on tables. We'll see the introduction of tables, database tables, and then proceed integrating UI activity tables and everything. Okay, from Monday it will start business scenarios. Tomorrow is important. Tomorrow if you are going to miss, you will not understand anything going forward. Okay, so we can wind up for today. You go through this and get a basic understanding of what is activity and how to invoke from other activity and how to invoke from a flow using utility shape. It should be of type utility. Notes are already ఇచ్చా కదా మీరు రాయాలి. ఇది పోస్ట్ చేస్తాను.
హర్ష,
ఎస్ భరత్,
నిన్న నోట్స్ పోస్ట్ చేశాను హర్ష, నేను మిస్ అయ్యాను.
నిన్న నోట్స్ పోస్ట్ చేయాలా? యాక్టివిటీస్ రాశాను కదా, నిన్న నోట్స్ ఇచ్చాను కదా. నేను పోస్ట్ చేస్తాను ఈరోజు చూసి టైం చూసుకొని యాక్టివిటీస్ మొత్తం ఒక దాంట్లో. నిన్న నోట్స్ నేను రాయలేదు కదా, పోస్ట్ నోట్ప్యాడ్ లో రాయలేదు కదా నేను. ఓకే, నిన్న నోట్స్ నోట్ప్యాడ్ లో రాయాలి, రాసి పోస్ట్ చేస్తాను. వన్ మోర్ థింగ్ ఈస్, సో దోస్ హూ హ్యావ్ ఆల్రెడీ సెంట్ ఎ మెసేజ్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జామ్ బుకింగ్, కొంతమంది పంపించారు కదా. మీ బ్యాచ్ లో పంపించానా? మీరు బుక్ అయింది ఎగ్జామ్? ఓకే, యూ హ్యావ్ టు అపియర్ ఫర్ ద ఎగ్జామ్ విత్ ద ప్రూఫ్స్. ఇంకెవరు లేరా? ఓకే, సో ఎగ్జామ్స్ యూ నీడ్ టు బుక్ ఇట్ బిఫోర్ 20th or so. If at all something fails, we can do it by 31st again. Okay, last లో అంటే కుదరదు. 20th లోపల చేసుకుంటే బెస్ట్. If you are going to appear for the exam before 20th, that's good. If you are